Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Hot Gamers Only podcast. My name is Kyle, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Hunter. How are you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing just swell.
Yeah, so no Ethan this week. He's out on vacation in Florida. He should be back next week to talk about Starfield, but for
Yeah.
now, you're stuck with us two.
Yeah. No Starfield yet because he not around, but whatever. Instead, we have Sea of Stars.
Correct. Brand new indie RPG that just came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Done by the people who made The Messenger a few years back, which was like a throwback to Ninja Gaiden. This time their object of inspiration was Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, and we'll get into that later because man, I've noticed a lot of the Chrono Trigger inspiration just from playing the tiny bit of this game I've gotten to play of it. Ah, it's so good. Game is real good. But yeah, no Starfield from us because my computer can't run that game, and Hunter probably could, but I think he just didn't want to play it or didn't have time to.
Don't really care.
Yeah.
My general opinions of Skyrim and Fallout 4, the two Bethesda RPGs I played, they're good, but I don't really care about them. Playing them was an alright experience, but I don't really have a strong desire to again.
No.
And I don't own the console that Starfield is on. I probably wouldn't like it enough to go get one, and I avoid playing games on my computer whenever I can. So,
yeah.
Nothing from me.
Yeah, I think I played like a few hours of Skyrim and it just never clicked with me.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Because, I don't know. My thing with those is, the level progression system in those, and I'm going to go mostly off of my memories of Fallout right now because that one happened only a few years ago where I played Skyrim, when I was still in school. So that was a long time ago. But, progressing through the game in Fallout, making your character better, knowing what you have an idea of where you wanted to take that all felt really good. And there were some cool side quests and whatnot, and all of the side characters were. I guess my main issue with that was a lot of times they were only superficially interesting or weird. It's like, oh, look at that guy. He's a little weirdo. And it didn't really go much beyond that and doing your tasks for them. And then the main story of that game was also not good.
Oh.
At all.
Oh no.
Which is par for the course for Bethesda RPGs, but so it was just a matter of finding. It still had cool moments, but it's whatever. That's why nothing really draws me to them like that. There's no characters I really strongly enjoyed, and there wasn't an actual main hook on the story to keep me thinking about it. Besides what I would have done differently if I were in charge.
Yeah, but we're not here to talk about Bethesda this week. That's for next week when Ethan's back with his fancy portable Xbox and his vacation webcam. God, we did a test recording earlier this week. It is a treat.
By portable Xbox, you mean just
a small Xbox? Yeah. But yeah, this is Hot Gamers Only. Every Monday at noon Eastern, 5 p.m. UK time, we upload new episodes. Follow us, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, like us on podcast services, all that good stuff. I don't really know the spiel. I'm gonna be honest. I zone out when Ethan does it now.
Yeah, it's we don't have any reviews to plug.
Yeah.
Lately.
Nothing to plug.
Master Detective, if you wanted to go watch that, but that's 2 weeks old at this point, so
yeah. And the game's 2 months old at this point, so you've probably played it if you were interested already.
It's old news and it's niche.
It makes for a great review, though.
Oh, thanks.
Late and niche.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're going to be talking Sea of Stars this week. So, yeah, we've both gotten to play it. Sea of Stars available on all consoles and PC as well. Hunter, how far into the game did you get? Because I feel like you
Let's
got a
see.
lot further than I did.
Actually, I think we got about the same because for as much as the game was available on like Tuesday or whatever, I didn't actually get to make a substantial amount of progress in it, a
Oh,
whole lot until today, where I got as far as I met some pirates and sailed off
oh,
onto another island.
no shot. We're actually in the same place.
Awesome.
I did the sailing with the pirates, and then I got to the save point on the island they go to, and I'm like, this seems like a good stopping point.
Yeah.
I have things I need to do today. This seems like a good place to leave it. So yeah.
So yeah, which is a decent enough sample size for first impressions at
It's like
least.
4 hours in.
Yeah, and this game can't be that long, certainly.
Right.
Uh,
Didn't check how
yeah,
long to beat, but probably should have. Oh well.
how you
Can't
feeling
imagine it's
about it
like
so
over
far?
20, 25. I really love this game. I think that this is a really nice love letter to the RPGs of old. And on top of that, it also just feels really good to be playing an RPG again. After just the influx of action games this year, I just came off of Armored Core 6. So it feels good to go back to something very, very low key, very chill, something I can kind of half turn my brain off to, but still pay enough attention to.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it's real good so far. Like, oh man, the art style of this game, I think, is my favorite of these super pixel games so
Mm,
far.
it's beautiful.
Like, just the way everything looks in motion and whatnot, the character portraits and all that. I think there's something about the smaller details that I think are just singing more to
Hmm.
me now than even in like Octopath 2 earlier this year, where even then I remember mentioning like the way they had like the cool camera pan when you did the level 4 attacks and whatnot was a
Hmm.
solid way of upping the presentation in that game, but I think this one's taken it even a step further than that. So that's
Oh, for
really
sure.
cool. Oh,
Yeah, for sure. And the story of this game. So, talking story, the little bit of story that we've gotten for it, it focuses on these two characters. They're basically like the Solstice twins, I guess you could call them, the children of
yeah,
the
the Solstice
Solstice.
Warriors
Yeah,
is
that.
what they're called. I don't think they're actually related to each
I don't
other,
think so
so
either, but it just felt
but
easier
yeah,
to
yeah,
classify them like
Solstice
that.
Warriors is what they're called. Valerie and Zale,
Mm,
Moon and Sun, respectively, is where they specialize in their magics.
yeah. Start of the game, you pick one of them to basically be your main character, but according to the game, it doesn't matter much. And I can definitely see, like, yeah, they're not like leaving the party. They're
Yeah,
taking this journey together. So it's kind of just up to preference which one you want to start with.
you can also like you switch who you're controlling on the map just by switching who's first in the order.
Right, right.
Yeah, but which one did you pick to
I ended,
start?
I ended up picking Valerie,
Ah, cool.
and you took Zale.
I did at first. Like I've been alternating between the two of
Ah,
them for now, just because really there's no,
yeah.
as far as I can tell, there's no actual tangible difference. It's just a matter of preference. But yeah. The
Right.
one thing about the way they set that up at first though was you did like two screens of the present time and then they were like, "Ah, yes, time for the flashback."
Yeah.
Which I was like, "Oh, weird. I don't know, this is a weird way to do it." But I was actually kind of into it by the time we got to the end of that flashback sequence with their friend and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I also thought
Mostly because like, you first.
I was just gonna say, I also thought it was cool how at the end of the flashback it kind of tied into where you left off with them in the present time before the flashback started.
Oh yeah, you literally played like right up to what
right
they
up
were
to where
doing before
to
the
where
game
you
started.
left. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, huh. For a second, I thought they were just gonna make us play the first two screens again, and I'm like, this is the quickest, like, this is how you got here I've ever done.
Right.
This is a far cry from Persona 5's
Oh
that took
God.
80 hours to get to.
Because yeah, in story context, you go through like 20 years in an hour,
I think it was closer to
essentially.
10, but yeah.
10, 20, same difference, truly.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was funny. But once you got the, like, I thought the starting area that you do, like, moving forward from there was good enough, I think. I was pleasantly surprised to have their buddy from the beginning just introduced again right after that.
Yeah.
I was worried that they were going to be like, oh, he was all angry that he was abandoned and left, and now he's going to be evil later or something like that.
Dude, I was convinced of that and then was proven wrong immediately.
Yeah, so it was nice to see that like right away. I'm like, oh, good for you, game. That's that was the better move. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Not just keeping that mystery dangling over for the entire game.
Yeah. No, like I think that their dynamic is the dynamic with the three of them. I think works better than just the two of them a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, Garl has quite a bit of energy
Mm.
that makes encountering other people more interesting. I think.
Dude, the introduction with the bookkeeper character was so good.
Oh yeah.
This game has a really good sense of humor. Like,
Oh yeah, it does. Like oh yeah, you're talking about the girl that was by the stone, you mean?
yeah, the little pink-haired wandering
Yeah,
traveler, yeah.
yeah, that was real good. Like there's nothing that sells cartoonish excitement more than old school RPG aesthetics.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Just having her like popping all around the screen in
Yeah.
excitement. It was really cute. And I'm like just like, okay, you're my favorite character now. You're real cool.
Yeah, that was real good. I liked the part where they were talking to the elder mist thing, and like he even was talking to Garl for a second, and Garl answered him, and he's like, "You're not supposed. This isn't a conversation. Stop it."
Dude, one of my favorite parts of this game so far was going up to the town of Brisk where you get the boat for progression. Leading
Yeah,
up to that, there's all these signs just strewn around the area.
just telling you keep going to the right.
Yeah. Just feel like you're almost at the boat. Just a little further, you'll be to Brisk. And I'm like,
Yeah, yeah,
and then even when you
yeah.
meet like the pirate crew, like they're all just a bunch of goobers.
Oh yeah.
They all have their own little quirks to them. One of the pirates has 2 eye patches.
Oh
He's just
yeah, yeah.
Blindbeard the pirate.
Yeah, he cracked me up. It was funny because they're like, "Oh no, you might think it might have been some tragic accident, but no, he has to be blindfolded to use his magic."
Yeah.
Which he didn't discover until he put on a pirate costume while already being dressed as a pirate. It
Oh,
was like, "Huh, okay,
it's just silly stuff like that that makes me fall in love with the genre all over again.
yeah, it's real good because it has like this. It's just that sense of like fun and
Yeah.
adventure that these kind of older games captured. It's very solid in this game. I
Hmm.
think one thing that this game, you know, I'd probably a benefit from being made, these days rather than old, is I think that moving around in the, dungeon like areas is so much more interesting than it used to be in these kind of games.
Yeah. In older games, definitely. Like, it just felt a lot like follow the hallway with like a few offshoots for some hidden goodies.
Yeah, and it's
Like,
all
I
just
love,
very flat, or
yeah.
it would have like there would just be the holes in the ground that you'd have to go around.
Hmm. Or the holes in the ground you couldn't see.
Oh yeah, that too.
Shout outs to Final Fantasy V. Great video game.
But yeah, this game you do all sorts of like climbing and moving objects around in the environment, and it just feels like the level design in this game feel a lot more cohesive, like an actual place than just some rooms that are next to each other,
Yeah.
which I think is much to the game's benefit here. It makes the because oftentimes in these kind of games you'll hit the wall where it's like, oh, I'm tired of fighting stuff, let me just run through here. And now if I ever hit that wall, at least the actual level to navigate will be interesting still.
Yeah. But even on that point, like the random or not even right, not random encounters, but just the enemy encounters in general, like they don't take that long to get through.
Yeah, for sure. The battles go by pretty quickly, and all of the resources in the battles are, you know, they're isolated. Most of the like points and stuff you're accruing during the fights are isolated to that particular fight, like the combo points and the active mana and stuff. That's all right there. So you're encouraged to just go for it rather than being like, oh, what if I hold on to this until the boss and whatnot. It really tries to get you to not do that.
Right. It definitely feels like this game knows how RPG players play RPGs, and is like just trying to streamline the process,
Yeah, for sure.
which is what a lot of modern RPGs are starting to do. Like Chained Echoes, I played that earlier this year, and that is very, very user friendly, or very player friendly, I guess you could call it. And on the combat for this game, it does take some cues from like Super Mario RPG or the Paper Mario games, where you have your timed button presses to get more damage out of moves, which I've personally always thought that more RPGs should try and do that.
Yeah, I certainly think it's a decent, halfway point to getting you to pay more attention
Right.
to what's going on rather than just I'm just
Just
gonna zone out and
autopiloting
push.
every fight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, dodge or blocking works that way too, and there's the lock system for the enemies, like special moves or whatnot, where you got to do the specific type of damage to undo it. I have a minor gripe with that little system there, and it's that it seems like sometimes the the locks don't give you the right kind of opportunity to actually undo them before
Right.
they happen.
I've definitely
Like
had that
sometimes
issue.
it'll be you have to hit them with sharp damage and also sun, but but the lock is only here for one turn, and Zale is the only one who does either of those kind of damage.
Yeah. And like even if you don't break the lock, like still just hitting the weaknesses, I guess you could call them. That still like lowers the damage output from the boss's attack. But yeah, it is kind of annoying that it's not always like doable.
Or also when it will be like, yes, 3 enemies at a time are gonna have a move like this.
Oh yeah, good god. That is
I'm just sitting here like, and somehow I can't undo all of any of them.
because yeah, for the point we're at, like we'll have like Zale is Zale. I keep wanting to call him Zell, and I don't know why, but Zale, he's the only one with slash, and then the other two chuckleheads, Valerie and Garl, they both hit on bash damage.
Yeah, Bash, and then Zale and Valerie both have the moon and sun stuff,
Yeah,
respectively.
and Garl doesn't have any magic, so
Yeah, no, he's a healer
he's just a
McGee for
regular
me.
Andy.
Uh, it's funny. I do like their respective magic attacks though. With little Zale's little sunblast it hits real hard when you juice it with the mana stuff on the ground. And while Valerie's little boomerang thing is probably less effective in general, it does really satisfy me when I hit it more than like
It's
3 times.
fun.
It feels real good to just
It's
flip it
so
off
much
of a
fun.
bunch of things.
it's so fun, and it just like it feels good to be good at it, you know, because you know you're getting more of a reward out of it for understanding how it works.
Yeah. Even though I'm sure after a couple of hits it stops mattering. Like
Oh,
it's like, okay,
probably.
you've been capped. We are not letting you kill this thing in one shot. No.
There was one enemy I was fighting that was actually resistant to that move when I was using it, and when I ended it, it
Oh.
took like 7 damage.
Oh.
And I got it
Oh
going real
no.
fast too. But I'm like, oh, well, this is neat. Was
Oh,
it was a
that would
good
have
use
been
of
funny.
magic.
Oh, I did that one so good. You're gonna die. Sick.
Resisted.
Oof.
Ah! The RPG player's nightmare.
Yeah. Uh,
Ugh. Oh. Do you have any complaints with this game? Any
uh,
negatives?
so aside from the little annoyance I described with the locking, not especially right now, at least in this early stage here. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think so far, this has been a really solid little introduction to the game at the moment. I don't know, maybe it could become annoying that I can only carry 10 healing items at a time,
Oh yeah, the cooking. That's right.
but like so far that's like one of those things where it's like it hasn't really been an issue for me yet. So, you know, if it becomes an issue, then that'll be kind of annoying, but like would I prefer to just be able to buy potions? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But like this doesn't really hurt my feelings that much.
Mm-hmm. And the other good thing about this game is that it also feels super beginner friendly. Like if is your first RPG you're playing, the game gives you a bunch of items. They call them relics that can be used to help make the game just streamline the game for you. Like
Yeah.
I know on my run, I have on a heal the whole party after a battle, but
Yeah.
that's just more for convenience, not because I think the game is hard. And also, Chained Echoes and Chrono Cross did that, and it's just something I got way too used to for
Yeah,
these kinds
like
of games.
one of the other ones was that little it's like, oh, a little star thing will shoot off when you correctly do the button
Hmm.
press timing, right? And I'm like, I want that one because I like to know when I've
Right.
done it correctly.
Yeah.
And
But
like
there's,
there are even other ones that you can buy from people later. Like one of it's
yeah.
like, oh yes, a chance to automatically block or something like that.
I think one
Which
of them is just a flat damage reduction.
oh yeah, which when I have to buy them from a store, I'm way more inclined to just turn them on too.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yes, I earned this one.
But yeah, that heal after every battle one, that's like the two we talked about were just given to you.
Yeah, there was a third one that was just given to you. But I don't remember what it was.
Was there? I thought it was just the two. Maybe I didn't
Was
find
it?
the third one.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not
I thought it was
remembering.
just the two.
I don't know. I might have made something up.
Oh well, not
Uh,
important.
yeah, the point is there's a bunch of stuff there for you to fine tune your experience to be more suited to what you'd want.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
Hmm.
you got anything else?
Um, not from me, though Ethan sent us a couple of questions earlier
Oh
about it.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
first on that one
What's he talking
was
about with the typos?
yeah, I guess there's grammatic. I guess there were grammatical errors present.
I haven't seen
With
any.
yeah, as far as commas being where they shouldn't and stuff like that. To be
Hmm.
honest with you, I've yet to really nothing's. I've not seen anything to where it's stuck out yet. I'm not gonna say it wasn't there at all,
Right.
but it's none of that like all your base belong to us thing.
X-Men, welcome to die.
To die. Yeah. There's not been any of that, or as far as I've gotten. And then uh, the second question was, do you think he would like it?
Um, That's hard to say. Ethan doesn't like a lot of the things that I like.
I think this game stands a better chance of being an RPG that he'd like than a lot of other ones, at the
Yeah.
very least. Like, it's approachable and easy, if nothing else.
Oh, for
As
sure.
far as, like, you'd like this more than going back and playing one of the old Final Fantasies.
Mm-hmm. And I think the dynamic between the three Stooges in our party right now, I think those work really well.
Yeah.
They all
like,
play off each other super well, and like even without the backstory given to us about Zale and Valerie, I think it's pretty clear that like they've known each other for a long time. They know how to make jokes with each other. They know how to banter. They know
yeah,
how
their
to get
rapport
under
is
the other
really
one's
good.
skin. They have a really cool like sibling dynamic without being siblings.
Yeah. Yeah, because they all seem like they were kind of orphans or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Just...
yeah, because like the two of them at least came from like, I guess, a stork, a magic, but magic stork, celestial bird of some variety is what they said. I don't remember anymore.
I'm
I
choosing to
didn't pull
believe it's the
the
same one from Yoshi's Island.
I didn't pull the stork thing completely out of thin air. It was some kind of bird. I just don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But they both were dropped into the beginning town, like, via that, and also Garl didn't seem to have any parents of his own to be worried when he got his eye poked out. So, yeah. So, yeah, they kind of have a found sibling dynamic that's really good so far.
Yeah. But I mean, even if Ethan wouldn't like this game, it wouldn't hurt for him to try it out. It's available for free on Game Pass and on PlayStation Plus.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
also
it
on the
is.
Switch, where you have to pay money.
It is on the Switch where you have to pay money, but on the other two, or at least second tier of PlayStation Plus, get it for its current price while you still can.
Yeah. It is being given out for free this month.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's already downloaded it. It's already on his PS5.
Yeah, but he also bought Octopath too.
Yeah, I know.
That was actually like monetary value he had to put down on that one, and he still hasn't played it yet.
Yeah, it was. Ethan's an interesting one. We love him.
Yeah.
But he makes some interesting money choices sometimes.
Yeah.
So do you recommend it?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think if you like RPGs, old or otherwise, this is a good one to give a whirl.
Absolutely. And the music in it, we didn't touch on it, but man, it's fantastic.
Oh, man. Every track is a winner. Like, legit, every time. I'm like, oh, yes, this is the good stuff. Which makes sense, because it's Chrono Trigger composer, right?
It's the power of Yasunori Mitsuda.
That's the spirit, because, yeah, I didn't play all of Chrono Trigger, but every track in that game was a winner, too. See, I would have probably gotten around to playing all of it by now, but I lost my save when I lost my last computer, so
damn.
I just haven't been in the swing of trying to start it over yet, because usually I don't start things over.
It's true.
This came up after the recording at some point last week, and I was like, if I were to ever start playing Tales of Vesperia again, it'd be from that 10-hour save that I have from 2020. I would not start over, and Ethan called me a monster.
No, I think you're onto something with that. I think that's the way to be. If you remember
wait,
it, you remember it. If you don't, you don't.
Way too many people get bogged down by, oh, I'm not gonna remember anything. And like, okay, maybe if you were in like the final couple of hours of the game, it would really suck to not remember what you were doing. But I was I was relatively early on.
Yeah.
Also, better to be hazy on the details and finish it than, never ever know the full thing.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's probably, if I ever do end up getting back to Tales of Berseria, which I've been trying to get back to it since like 2019. That's probably just what I'm gonna do. It's not worth starting over.
That's the spirit.
But yeah, Sea of Stars, fantastic so far from the first 4 or 5 hours we've played. Give it a
And
whirl.
for once, the reviews agree with me.
Yeah.
Indie RPGs are never like winning for. They're like never the winning pick for me when I'm as so far for doing the fantasy critic thing. Like, I remember PC Gamer and their Chris Tales review. I shake my fist at you. This one got me in. My favorite thing was the brief moment where it was like 94 or something. And
Oh
I'm like,
dear
yes,
God, yeah.
another one.
That was wild.
But it like
Yeah.
went down to like 89, which is still very respectable and very pleasing for me because it's still just funny. Because I remember it was around that round after I had selected Sea of Stars and Gumbrella where you two were like, "Yeah, okay, he's starting to be crazy again."
Well, I wanted to draft Sea of Stars in the draft. I had it on my list, but I just had it way down on my list because I'm like, who would pick this? It's had like one trailer given out so far.
But it was a really good trailer.
It was a really good trailer.
I'm like, this looks like a winner. That's all I need.
That was my thought process too. Oh well. I thought I had another round. Turns out I didn't. But no, even Chained Echoes that came out at the end of last year, that scored like a 90.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Nice.
It was either like a really high 80 or a 90 flat. It was a really good game.
You know, it's nice that these RPGs in the indie space are kind of keeping the turn-based thing going because it seems like, with the exception of Persona, which the last one was 2020, if we want to be talk Royal specifically, we can go further back for the original version. I guess Dragon Quest came out sometime between Persona 5 and now, but like a lot of the like Final Fantasy moving more towards the action-centered thing, a lot of the more prominent RPGs are more action-based these days. So it's cool that we've got really quality indie games holding up that kind of a corner,
keeping up the legacy of the older games.
Yeah.
While still adding in new twists. And I mean, yeah, you still got like Square Enix making Dragon Quest and Octopath and things like that.
Yeah.
And Pokemon still exists, but that's, I think we've talked about this before.
It never registers
Pokemon
as an
falls into
actual
its own
RPG
category.
to me. Pokemon to me is a Pokemon game. It is, yeah.
Like, I get it. Yes, it is technically a turn-based RPG. Pokemon is Pokemon.
Yeah. For me, like, genres are so nebulous and stupid these days. It's just more about what it feels like it is rather than maybe looking at what the science of it is.
Right.
Because, like, I don't know, technically, you might be able to describe God of War, this last one, as an action RPG, but I feel like that would be a foolish thing to say.
Yeah. I think Final Fantasy 16 counts itself as an action RPG, but I wouldn't count it as that.
Yeah.
I think the RPG elements in that game are superfluous.
But well, sometimes it's a matter of like how much they try to emphasize that stuff rather than, because like if the game acts like it really wants you to look at the stuff, then it'd be a different story.
Right. But it's not.
As opposed to like, like, because if a game has like, I don't know, a card mini game that's Final Fantasy 8 or 9, I guess, like, would I describe that as a card game if it's just a little mini game that you can completely ignore? No. I would not.
All right. Yeah, Sea of Stars, very good. Y'all should check it out if you get the time. With all of these fucking games coming out.
So many games coming out.
God.
They won't stop. I mentioned Umbrella earlier. That got a date finally. September 13th. A mere day before AK's Alotl. I'm going to be busy because I'm also contractually obligated to get Mortal Kombat now, which is only a couple days after that. That's a lot of games.
Baldur's Gate is out on PS5 next week, and we were talking about this earlier, Hunter, but I think like I might end up just skipping it, or if
I
not, buying it and then just playing like 4 hours of it for first impressions for next
Yeah.
week.
So I'm definitely not going to skip it entirely
Right.
because that's a game that I want to play because it seems like I'm going to get an experience out of it like what Dragon Age has given to me. And I very much like those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
And also, whether or not I'm going to get that from the next Dragon Age is up in the air. So, get a really good one while I can kind of thing. It's just, that game is real big, quite chunky.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be waiting until like November or December to play it. Which that worked out just fine when I decided to put off Tales of Arise for a couple of months. Loved that game when I got to it. But, yeah. Like I've got because like those games that are still coming out, I've missed a couple of games already. Like
Mm.
earlier in the year, Dredge, this boat nav, it's like fishing, but also Lovecrafty and horrors come out at night, and it's exactly the kind of thing because like I led with
Yeah, that's a
fishing, and you're
Hunter
probably
game.
like, yeah, I led with fishing, and you're probably like, why would you even care?
Yeah,
And
that's
then
not Dave the Diver.
I got to the second part, I was like, ah, there it is.
Now it makes
Like,
sense.
so I really want to play that because you know that seems very interesting and just kind of flew like it came in at one of those spots where it was like right between two things and I was maybe finishing something up while not quite having enough time for another game, but I still want to make it happen because I think it's really good, or probably really good, at least very interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then Viewfinder was that puzzle game that came out like in June, July-ish. I don't remember exactly, but I was like busy playing and reviewing both Final Fantasy and Raincode
Oh
back to back
yeah.
there. So like I didn't get time to. I probably could have made time because it's probably not a very long game because puzzle games that get long probably aren't good. I don't think that like long puzzle games like unless you've got like Portal's level of writing shouldn't really be a thing.
Right.
Because they outstay their welcome after a while.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, I can't think of any games offhand that I have missed that I wanted to play this year, but I mean, give it time. This September, October, November time slot, like something's gonna fall through the cracks, and unfortunately, it might end up being Baldur's Gate
yeah, but
because that's
that's
like
also
the
one
most
where
immediate one I can think of that I'd want to play, and I don't know how
how
long Sea of Stars is gonna take. And
yeah,
I don't want to stop playing Baldur's Gate halfway through to go play Spider Man.
yeah. How much is left after? Because you just mentioned Baldur's Gate and Spider-Man. What's left for you this year that you're looking forward to?
Ooh, I don't know that off the top of my head, and I can't go look that up because I was gonna.
Mm,
I'd usually go check the Fantasy Critic at this point, see what's still to come. But
because like,
um,
uh, because
Pokemon
like
DLC maybe for Scarlet and
maybe
Violet, whatever the hell
um
that's gonna come out.
like I know you probably I don't know if Mario comes out when Spider-Man does,
Oh
and I'm pretty
right,
sure.
Mario RPG is coming out in
Oh yeah,
November.
that too.
That's right. Mario Wonder
Mm,
seems interesting enough, but that might be a wait until Christmas kind of game. I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know. We'll need to see who what that. I don't know what's coming out around it. Is the thing Spider? Is
Well,
that Spider Man coming
it's the
out?
same day as Spider-Man, which is
Ah!
like chief among the reasons I'm not picking it up right away. Also, like Mario's another one. I described Skyrim and Fallout like this at the beginning of the show. Mario oftentimes is another case of yeah, it's good, but I
Right.
oftentimes don't care about it.
Yeah. I mean, I like 2D Mario as much as the next guy, but I'm not chomping at the bit to want to play another one.
I mean, I liked older 2D Mario. I think their more recent batch of games have been shoulder shrug inducing to say, yeah, to be
Yeah.
generous. But this one at least looks interesting. Like they're going different places with it. You can put a Yoshi on a Yoshi, so there's at least that.
Mm-hmm. And also,
But yeah,
like,
another game that I want to get to before Halloween time because being the horror person that I am, another Amnesia game came out earlier this year, and this one seems to, but just Amnesia: The Bunker, and I missed that because it, fell in between. Missed it for the reason that I missed the other things, but I'd like to get to that because I've managed to hit the other major horror games with Resident Evil and Dead Space so far. I'm gonna play Alan Wake.
mm-hmm.
So I'd like to, get that one as another, you know, it'd be cool to have played enough horror games that came out this year to edit in another category into the HGAs where I just get to select a winner.
Right, right. But yeah, like I'm looking at the games I cleared this year. I keep a little note going on my phone because I'm liable to
I do
forget
that.
things.
I do that too because I
Any
make a
longtime
video at
listener,
the end of the year.
yeah, any longtime listener will know I am liable to forget everything
Yes.
if I don't write it down. But I'm just looking at it, and there's not a lot of games in my backlog on this list. A lot of what I finished came out this year.
Oh
Like
yeah.
from my backlog off the top of my head, like off this list is Elden Ring, which was in March.
Yeah.
Was that March? Yeah, end of March. Chained Echoes, which I finished in the middle of June. Neo 2, which I finished recently, and still ongoing is Final Fantasy 14, which I unfortunately decided
I
to
don't
get
know if that
into
counts as a
this year.
backlog.
That's just a forever game.
Yeah.
If I was really smart, I would have started playing FF14 a couple years ago instead of going into Genshin Impact. Unfortunately, Kyle's not smart.
Unfortunately, you picked the wrong anime game first.
Schwoops.
Oh, it happens to the best of us.
But yeah, like
We all picked Scarlet Nexus. and, and none of us hate it more than Ethan.
look, we all make mistakes. What's important is that we learn and grow from those mistakes.
Yeah.
But was yeah, like we've talked a lot about this year how there's just been all these dead spots in the year, but honestly, it's just been a really good fucking year for video games.
It's sheer volume wise, this
Yeah.
year is like unmatched. Like I said before, that you could maybe make an argument that the game for game quality in some other years maybe still exceeds this one if you were to look at like how much you really like some games compared to the
Mm-hmm.
games that are this year. But sheer volume wise, there are so many games that are just really quality experiences this year that's insane.
Yeah.
Like in every category at Keeley's Awards in December, it will feel like at least every category will feel like something got snubbed. I
Yeah.
feel.
Oh, definitely.
Like something's gonna be missing off of best sports and racing, and people are gonna be angry. Like with the way this year's been going.
But yeah, every month this year it just feels like there's been some big game in a well-known franchise that's just
Or
a hit.
yeah, or if not like every month exactly on the calendar, it'd be like one comes out at the end of a month, and you'll be playing it for the rest of the preceding month or whatnot.
Right. Like we didn't pick up Pikmin, but Pikmin
No,
4 came out like end of July.
yeah, and people really enjoyed.
That
Pikmin
did
fans
really
really like
well.
that. Same score as Starfield.
Damn, just as good.
Just as good.
And a lot shorter, probably. Don't know,
I have to
haven't played
imagine.
either. But yeah, I am looking forward to your year-end top 10, Hunter.
It's gonna be such a
I
pain to
don't envy you.
organize. It's like I have a feeling that I have a feeling of like the top couple so far, but you never know for sure until you get to the end because
Yeah.
2021 I thought that finished Chris Tales in like the summer, and I'm like, I don't foresee a whole lot beating this.
Mm-hmm.
It got as far as Metroid, which was like on my list there, one right before Crystales, and that didn't supplant it. And I'm like, all right, I think this is pretty safe to say. And then, Tales of Arise hit just a little harder by
Yep.
the end of the year. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And then
But who
even a
knows?
little behind the scenes for us, earlier this week we decided to expand our top 5 games of the year picks for the HGAs to a top 6 because I've already had to make some cuts on my list.
Yeah. And this is how you know this year is good, is that Kyle needs more space to talk about games that came out this
Dude,
year.
my year started with me playing Dead Space.
Yeah.
Let's put that into perspective. Dead Space happened this year, in case anyone forgot.
Man, it's crazy because it all feels like, okay, so Final Fantasy 16 already feels like a lifetime ago.
My god, it does.
Being immediately before Final Fantasy 16 feels like a lifetime. Breath of the Wild feels, or
Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom. Like how
Skyward
instead
Sword?
of jumping, instead of jumping forward, I kept going backwards. I don't understand what my problem was, but Tears of the Kingdom feels like an additional lifetime before that. And then like everything that came, like I played Star Wars this year.
My god, Star Wars came out this year.
Yeah, and I liked it quite a bit. Like it feels like it was forever ago.
Man. Dude, I know how you feel. It feels like it's been a million years since I did that Octopath 2 review and busted that game out in a week because I had a week off of work. But
Yeah.
oh, what a good week that was. What a good game that was. What a good year for video games.
Yeah. What a good year indeed.
And a lot more
And
good shit to
and
look
it's not
forward to.
stopping.
It's really not. Like I finished Armored Core 6 on Tuesday. I
Yeah.
took a little break on Wednesday before I even started playing Sea of Stars.
Yeah, that's
So I'm
fair.
like,
Yeah.
I can't jump from big robot game to story-driven RPG, one after the other. I need a little bit of a buffer in between those two.
That's like how before when I finished Raincode, my plan before from like I was gonna be like, oh, I'll play Life is Strange again because Ethan and I were gonna do something with that, and I was probably gonna have to wait until he comes back from vacation now. But because I decided if I do another story game again right now, my brain is gonna turn into pudding.
Right.
So that's why I spent that weekend and some change playing Twisted Metal because that just became available. I needed something, a little more involved, a little more explodey, and that was just the perfect thing to occupy me for that little bit of time. Because it's also very low investment. If I just didn't want to keep playing, I could just stop, and it was like nothing was ever
Nothing
gonna
lost.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So you finished Armored Core. Got any
God.
parting regards for that?
Game's just fun. Armored Core's just really fun.
That's another one that's like slipped by me, and I don't know if I'm gonna get to it this year.
I think if you can work out the time, I think it's worth it. But
Like,
I also think you're good to just wait for it to go on sale if you need
yeah,
to.
it's like one of those things where it's like I don't know if I'll get to it. Like I want to get to it at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get to it certain. Like it's another one of those ones like with Mario and Baldur's Gate at this point, where it's like birthday, Christmas list.
Yeah, and I mean it's a From game. It'll probably, and give it half a year, it'll be on sale like every other week.
Yeah.
But no, Armored Core was a shit ton of fun. I already enjoyed what I played of it for the first impressions. You can go back check out last week's episode for those, but I liked it even more after the fact as I started to unlock more robot parts, build more stupid robots.
So there was replay value.
There is, yeah. But man, so by the end of the game, I had 3 robots that I was shuffling between. The main one I was using was like a big tank robot, like
Yeah.
not tank like driving tank, but like tank like big body, lots of HP kind of tank.
Yeah, yeah.
I need to make that distinction clear for what I talk about later. But this first robot was just a lot of fun. It was big and slow, but it had a shit ton of health. I gave it dual Gatling guns,
Ah,
which
yes, I've seen that build before, and it's
my
silly. And
God. Dude,
this is the robot equivalent of Hunter making every member of his Xenoblade party DPS.
dude, there was not a single boss in this game where 2 Gatling guns did not solve my issue. And I'm like, this is
Was
the
it one of
most
those
fun I've
things
ever
where
had.
you would were you just always going into the bosses with this robot already, or did you try to fight them with something a little less
I
screw
tried
you, I
other
win?
stuff.
Okay.
Just turns out All Reliable is really freaking good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had the dual Gatling guns, and then on the shoulders I had what were called the Songbird, which were basically like double rocket launchers.
That's a good name for them.
That build cranked enemy stagger like nothing.
Oh.
You could just keep bosses stun locked for so long. It was so funny. It was so funny, dude.
Oh man. This isn't as funny as like Royal Guard bullying Virgil.
God. Honestly, just as satisfying.
That's
Second
what
one,
you like to hear.
yeah. Second build I ended up making was a lightweight robot with these plasma guns.
Pew pew.
Those were and that robot was really cool. It was the complete opposite of the tank robot that I built, where that one was super chunky and slow. This lightweight one was super quick, and I was just zipping around everywhere. And then my final one I built was an actual tank with like genuine tank treads.
Yes.
Dual grenade launchers and the same Songbird shoulder pieces.
Nice.
That build was just funny for blowing shit up. It was just amusing because, again, that was another build that just shredded bosses, especially one in particular in the late game, which was like a super quick robot. It was basically like if Melania from Elden Ring was a robot. Like, she was, this thing was just zipping around everywhere, and I'm like, okay, this isn't working. How do I just blow her up before she blows me up? Grenade launchers.
Age-old question.
Grenade launchers was the answer. I'll also say this build was terrible for ammunition cost refund.
Oh no.
Because basically at the end of every level you get like, you know, your mission score and then like your billing based on what like damage to your robot and then ammunition used.
Yeah.
Hunter, I kid you not, there was one mission where I got negative money.
Oh no, you went into the red.
Because of just grenade launchers. It's expensive ammunition. So
There was a
I came out of that
mechanic
mission
like
with
that
like
in
minus 40,000 money. And I'm like, oh, well, this is unfortunate. Good thing the next thing is the last mission in the game.
There was a mechanic like that in Metal Gear Solid 5, where because you were like managing a whole like paramilitary group, you had to worry about like money and R&D and stuff. So oftentimes you could have like, you know, stuff dropped to you. Like say you need a rocket launcher for something, you can just have a helicopter drop you a rocket launcher. And when it got to the like final battle of that game, things got expensive.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. But no, Armored Core, ton of fun. It's just a ton of stupid fun. If you want a mindless video game, because you just need to turn your brain off for an hour, Armored Core's great fun. It's on the shorter side. I was done in like. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Hunter.
Oh, I was gonna say it certainly seems like it's got a very satisfying. Because like the thing about mech games, at least from my own observation of like back a few years back, there was this Switch game, Daemon X Machina, I think was what it was called.
I remember
where
that.
It was like it was some kind of mech game, but it didn't look like it was very fun to actually navigate with said mech.
Right.
Because, you know, a lot of them, it's like, oh, they're big and silly robots, so it's gonna feel like you're controlling a big and silly robot. Sometimes for the worse. This game seems to have avoided that problem, at least optically. I feel like
Yeah.
it
Yeah, no,
looks like
it
you
feels
move
real good to
around.
control.
Yeah.
But no, I remember Damon Machina. I remember being really interested in it and then not hearing anything about it after it came out. Because I want to say that Astral Chain ended up releasing around the same time.
Oh, did it come out when Astral Chain did?
I
Really?
I could be misremembering that, but that's what I want to say happened. And Astral Chain just ended up being the one that I ended up getting.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then I never got around to playing Damon Machina.
Oh,
Oh well.
curse you, Astral Chain.
But no, Armored Core, ton of stupid fun. It is a bit on the short side. I was in and out in like 15 hours, and it's also very
Uh,
light on story. But I don't think that's a problem. You're not coming to a story to a robot game for the story. You're coming to a robot game to blow shit up. That's the way I'm seeing it, anyways.
yeah, most likely, at least.
No, super fun, but again, like if you're remotely interested in it, I'd say check it out. But I would also probably say wait for a sale, maybe. I don't regret dropping the full price on it, and I might pop back to it another time if I just need again if I just need something mindless.
Yeah.
But nah, real good time. Hunter, you got anything else?
No. So far, my oh, I can tell a little story about how last week, um, my inscription save file corrupted.
Oh,
Yeah. So last week I was because I don't know what happened to make this occur, but while I was, stranded at my brother's place because, a tiny tornado happened in my backyard, uh, I was off there. The first thing I tried to do was boot up Inscription so I could like hopefully finish it. It didn't work. It gave me the first logo in the set of logos that you get when you start up any game,
mm-hmm.
and then the screen just went black. And I'm like, what gives? I signed in as my brother's profile because I was on his PlayStation. I'm just gonna see what happens when I click on it for you. Game booted up just fine. I'm like, what's the problem here? I don't understand. Uninstall the game, reinstall the game. I'm still getting this issue. Uninstall it again, install the PS4 version, see if that's
Oh my god.
somehow going to change the way the world is happening. That didn't work either. Uninstall that, reinstall the PS5 one in case my brother wanted to start it. Um, I have to play other games while I'm over there. Like I turned Humanity back on for a little bit, played about half of Ghost Runner. This is as good as Ethan's been saying it has been since the first time he mentioned that. Get back home on Sunday or Monday. I don't think I turned Inscription back on until Monday. Now that I think about it, but I'm hit with this same black screen issue that I hadn't encountered on my own PS5 yet. I'm like,
Huh.
so I just deleted my save, turned off the cloud
Cloud
synchronizing thing.
syncing, yeah.
Yeah, I turned that off for that specific game. Deleted it, or deleted the save. Turned the game back on. I was like, haha, here you go. Welcome back to the madhouse. I'm like, well, this is great.
Damn.
You
Well, I'm
want to know
sorry to
what I
hear
did
that.
after that? I caught up to where I was that night.
Oh my god.
I did, yes. It's amazing what the benefit of knowing what you're doing will do. Because like it's if it would have been this situation where I could only get if I was getting as if it was giving me the same amount of difficulty as the first time around, I would probably have to write Inscription off as was really cool. Probably will never get to the around to finishing, at least for several
Yeah.
years now. But because I got to where I was before, I'm more than willing to get back to it after like Sea of Stars
Mm-hmm.
and other things now, you know. But yeah, so that was silly.
Well,
I
damn.
don't, I,
Sorry to hear
I don't,
that.
I don't understand what could have happened because I'm pretty sure like I turned the game off before my
Before you lost
PlayStation would have
power.
been. Yeah, I turned
Yeah.
my game off before disaster happened. So like I don't know how the save corrupted in the first place. You know what the goofy thing is? Like my other brother who lives here, every time I sign in to like play like FIFA with him and stuff on his own PlayStation, I get this notification about your God of War save is blah 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 blah. This
Yeah.
game that I finished over a year ago, or not over a year ago, almost a year ago. It came out in November. I'm being stupid. Um, uh, almost a year ago, and a game that I finished like shortly after its release. It's been telling me about this for almost as long. I never heard a peep out of PlayStation about my inscription save. I had to figure that out on my own. It wasn't telling me anything.
Oh, yeah,
What gives?
dude. Yeah,
And they want us to pay more for their subscription services.
that's so stupid too,
I
dude.
spit it.
That is so stupid. Thank you for reminding me I need to downgrade my subscription.
Yeah, for sure.
Because unfortunately, I still need PS Plus for Guilty Gear and Final Fantasy XIV. Haha, I have a problem.
Unfortunately. Because
Unfortunately.
I like how I don't know what it is about that little pricing hoopla that they thought was because like it's like a $10 or like a $20 jump from where it is
It's
for the
so
base
much.
subscription. Like it just gets exponentially worse for each one though.
Right.
Because like you'd think it would be because the totals, because one costs more, then naturally it's just going to cost just as much more but it's like I don't remember the exact figures, but let's say it's like tier 1 is plus 10 for the new price.
Mm.
They make tier so you'd think that it would just be a flat, plus 10 on the end of tier 2 as well, and you'd be total paying whatever, tier 2 plus 10.
Yeah.
No, it's like tier 2 plus 20 now. And then tier 3 is tier 3 plus 30.
It's
It's stupid
it's really
because
annoying.
especially tier 3 because you've yet to prove that that's actually worth
It's
the current
really
price
not
model.
worth it.
You like Twisted Metal was the first thing since you had launched this new service that I was like, ah, yes, very cool that I have this right now.
Yeah. That last that last tier just isn't worth it. They're just
Not
not
at all.
putting anything cool on there.
It's like if you really like the Siphon Filter series, now suddenly you have a way to play all of them without spending any extra money on them.
Yeah.
But like I would have just like it wouldn't have hurt my feelings to just pay the $5 or whatever that I would need to play those in the first place,
Right.
and then not be languishing with the like extra $130 that I gave them to not give me anything for the rest of the months that I've had this.
Right. And it's also just annoying when companies do this, when they just up the price and then add nothing else for no reason. Like just this month, I think Spotify upped their premium subscription price by a couple dollars. And I'm like, okay, but why? You didn't add anything.
Yeah, and it's like
You
it'd
added
be
in
like
stupid smart shuffle.
it'd be one thing if these were like companies that were struggling to get by or something, because fair enough, you needed to keep everything flat instead of going negative, but
Mhm.
you people aren't strapped for money this way.
Right.
There's no way you are.
Spotify already gets so much money out of college students.
Yeah, you're already making all of the money by upping by your current prices and not paying the artists appropriately,
Yeah.
probably. So,
And
you know,
all your deals with Hulu.
but yeah, PlayStation definitely didn't add anything to sweeten the deal. In fact, if you are a current tier 1 subscriber, they perhaps just spit in your face by giving you Saints Row as one of your free games the next month for this month now.
I mean, free is about the price I'd pay for that Saints Row. Let's be
Yeah.
real. Let's be real. Ah. Anyways, kids, the moral of the story is that companies aren't your friends.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Never. Just remember that on whatever side of the Starfield arrangement you end up on. Remember, neither company's your friend here.
Remember, Todd Howard stinks. That was a joke, Todd. Legally, that was a joke.
I don't think you could come after you for that legally.
Come after me for character defamation. This one guy on the internet said I stink.
Oh,
like, Todd, people have definitely said worse about you.
Yeah.
But that's not my place to say. What is my place to say is that that's all for this week, everyone. Go play Sea of Stars, go play Armored Core, go pre-order whatever other video games are coming out this year, because holy schmoly, there's a lot.
There are a lot.
There
go
are
pre-order
a lot.
AK's The Lotto, because that one's gonna be good. I feel it in my jellies.
I'm really upset that that's coming out this year. I really thought that wasn't coming out this year, dude.
Wait a minute. Was that one of your counter picks?
Yes.
Oh, I forgot about that.
To think in this world, I would be safer to have taken Hollow Knight Silksong a second year in a row as my counter pick than mother freaking Axolotl.
Because like it was one of those things where I wasn't expecting it to be like, it's like kind of the same way I wouldn't have expected Gumbrella to be coming. Like I was expecting Gumbrella to take like that River City Girls 2 slot where it's like, is it coming out? I don't know. I'm not going to know until 2 days before it's released, apparently.
Right.
But
and
I figured
whatever happens
might be a similar situation, but it is not. But that's okay, because I'm gonna play it and enjoy it.
Well, whatever happens. Hunter's already winning he's won the fantasy league this year.
Most likely, yes.
No, not most likely. You have.
I don't know. I thought I had it in the bag last year, and then Callisto Protocol underperformed.
Who knows, dude? Video games are whack, but I don't think anything Ethan has in his list is going to come close to touching your 390s.
It's true.
But yeah, that's all for this week. We'll be back next week, same time, same channel. Ethan will be back, ideally, with Starfield. If he's not, I'm going to yell at him. Because we don't have anything else planned for that week.
We should come up with something, Justin.
We sure should. That'd be smart.
If any of you have suggestions, feel free to put them in the comments.
Or you could email us at hotgamersonly.com or hit us up on Twitter at hotgamersonly.
Yeah, any of those as well.
Yeah, follow us, subscribe, all that jazz. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want to look at our stupid faces every week. There you go, Hunter. I remembered some of the script. Ethan was supposed to send me a script and he didn't.
I was sitting there thinking of like, what can I say to make my stupid, goofy hand motions happen?
Well, I can tell you that our links are not going to appear on screen right now.
Well, I'm going to do it anyway.
I don't have a magic button that makes that happen.
You just have to imagine they're there.
Just pretend like it's there. Our links would be down in the description, though. Go check those out. But yeah, Starfield, Ethan's first impressions next week. Possibly I might have played Baldur's Gate. I don't know. Depends on how I'm feeling. Hunter will also be here.
I'll be here. I don't know.
With his lovely personality.
I do have an impeccable personality, don't I? But, I've got an extra day off. Maybe I'll beaten Sea of Stars. Maybe I will have conquered the Inscription Beast. And maybe I will have played something else.
Hell yeah. But that's all to find out next week. But until then, have an awesome week, and we'll see you guys next time. See ya.
Toodaloo.